Bill Maher and Whoopi Goldberg, two prominent figures in American entertainment and political commentary, are no strangers to public debate and controversy. Both known for their strong opinions and distinct styles of discourse, they have often been perceived as polar opposites in terms of political ideology and presentation. When these two outspoken personalities clashed, it was bound to create ripples across media platforms and ignite a broader conversation about political discourse, media accountability, and ideological divides. This event, marked by Maher's sharp criticisms and accusations against Goldberg, was not merely a skirmish between celebrities, but a moment that encapsulated deeper cultural tensions. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. The confrontation arose during one of Bill Maher's characteristically biting monologues, where he took aim at Whoopi Goldberg's political statements and what he described as her habitual dissemination of misinformation. Maher, who has carved a niche as a libertarian-leaning critic of both right-wing extremism and left-wing orthodoxy, directed his ire at Goldberg for what he viewed as her uncritical embrace of certain left-wing narratives. He accused her of perpetuating simplistic and, at times, factually dubious claims in the name of progressive politics. These criticisms were not presented as minor grievances. Maher framed Goldberg's influence on public discourse as emblematic of larger issues within the left-wing media ecosystem. Maher's critique was pointed and comprehensive. He accused Goldberg of oversimplifying complex social issues and, in doing so, misleading her audience. According to Maher, such behavior reflects a troubling trend among certain public figures who prioritize ideological conformity over intellectual rigor. For someone like Goldberg, whose platform on The View reaches millions of viewers daily, this perceived lack of nuance and responsibility was, in Maher's eyes, an egregious misuse of influence. He painted Goldberg as an archetype of what he sees as a broader problem: the tendency of some progressives to adopt a dogmatic approach to political discourse, where dissenting opinions are dismissed outright rather than engaged with thoughtfully. The personal nature of Maher's criticisms added fuel to the fire. He accused Goldberg of misrepresenting his own views on multiple occasions, alleging that she had distorted his statements to portray him as a reactionary figure. This, he argued, was indicative of a broader strategy employed by some on the left, to demonize critics rather than engage with their arguments. Maher's takedown of Goldberg was not only an attempt to defend his reputation, but also a broader critique of what he perceives as the left's growing intolerance for ideological diversity. What made this clash particularly significant was the way it highlighted the evolving dynamics of political commentary in the United States. Both Maher and Goldberg are products of the same media landscape, yet they represent vastly different approaches to discussing political issues. Goldberg, as a co-host of The View, operates within a framework that often prioritizes collective agreement and emotional resonance. Her style is conversational and accessible, designed to appeal to a broad audience. In contrast, Maher's approach is combative and provocative, built on the premise of challenging conventional wisdom and courting controversy. Their clash, therefore, underscored a larger tension within the media: the conflict between comfort and confrontation, between reinforcing audience beliefs and challenging them. This confrontation also shed light on the responsibilities of public figures who engage in political discourse. Maher's criticisms of Goldberg were rooted in the belief that individuals with large platforms have a duty to prioritize truth and critical thinking over ideological loyalty. He framed Goldberg's alleged misrepresentations as not just personal affronts, but as a betrayal of this responsibility. By calling her out publicly, Maher sought to hold Goldberg accountable, positioning himself as a defender of open dialogue and intellectual honesty. The implications of this clash extend far beyond Maher and Goldberg themselves. It tapped into broader cultural debates about the role of media in shaping public opinion and the challenges of maintaining a healthy political discourse in an increasingly polarized society. In many ways, Maher's criticisms of Goldberg can be seen as a microcosm of the larger battle between differing visions of how political and social issues should be discussed. On one side are those who prioritize ideological alignment and emotional resonance, while on the other are those who advocate for a more confrontational and critical approach. Maher's takedown of Goldberg also served as a reminder of the fragility of public trust in media and political commentators. At a time when misinformation is a pervasive concern, accusations of lying and distorting facts carry significant weight. Whether or not Maher's specific claims about Golberg were entirely accurate, his broader critique of media irresponsibility resonated with many who feel disillusioned by the state of political discourse. This disillusionment is not limited to one side of the political spectrum. Both progressives and conservatives have expressed frustration with what they perceive as the biases and shortcomings of mainstream media. For Golberg, the clash with Maher was undoubtedly a moment of reckoning. While her defenders might argue that she was unfairly targeted or misrepresented, the episode nonetheless highlighted the challenges of navigating the responsibilities that come with a prominent public platform. Goldberg's critics, emboldened by Maher's takedown, seized the opportunity to question her credibility and demand greater accountability. Whether or not she addressed these criticisms directly, the incident likely prompted a degree of introspection about her approach to political commentary. From a broader perspective, the Maher-Goldberg clash underscored the limitations of the current media landscape in fostering meaningful dialogue. Both figures, in their own ways, are products of an environment that often rewards sensationalism and polarization over nuance and understanding. Their confrontation, while compelling and dramatic, ultimately highlighted the difficulties of bridging ideological divides in an era where disagreement is often equated with hostility. Maher's critique of Golberg also raised important questions about the nature of political identity and the challenges of navigating ideological labels. Both figures have been accused of straying from the traditional boundaries of their respective political affiliations. Maher, often criticized for his willingness to challenge progressive orthodoxy, has been accused of pandering to conservative audiences. Similarly, Golberg has faced criticism for her perceived inconsistencies and occasional deviations from progressive talking points. Their clash, therefore, was not just a battle between two individuals, but a reflection of the fluid and often contentious nature of political identity in the modern era. The implications of this clash also extend to the broader question of how we define and value truth in political discourse. Maher's criticisms of Golberg were rooted in the belief that truth and intellectual honesty should take precedence over ideological alignment. This belief, while noble in theory, is increasingly difficult to uphold in practice, particularly in a media landscape that often rewards partisanship and sensationalism. By calling out Golberg, Maher sought to reaffirm the importance of truth in political commentary, even if doing so meant alienating some of his own supporters. At its core, the Maher-Goldberg clash was a moment of cultural significance because it forced both supporters and critics to confront uncomfortable truths about the state of political discourse. For Maher's supporters, it was a vindication of his willingness to challenge orthodoxy and hold powerful figures accountable. For Goldberg's defenders, it was a reminder of the need to protect public figures from what they see as unwarranted attacks and mischaracterizations. Regardless of where one stands on the issue, the clash served as a powerful reminder of the complexities and challenges of engaging in public discourse in an increasingly divided society. The event also sparked broader conversations about the role of humor and satire in political commentary. Maher, known for his sharp wit and irreverent style, used humor as a tool to critique Goldberg and, by extension, the broader left-wing media establishment. This approach, while effective in capturing attention and driving home his points, also raised questions about the limits of satire and the potential for humor to oversimplify complex issues. For some, Maher's takedown of Goldberg was a masterclass in the art of political satire. For others, it was an example of the dangers of using humor to attack individuals rather than addressing systemic issues. The clash between Bill Maher and Whoopi Goldberg not only highlighted their ideological differences, but also illuminated the shifting dynamics of how public figures navigate their roles in shaping the national conversation. As the discourse between them escalated, it became clear that the confrontation was emblematic of deeper societal fractures that extend far beyond the entertainment and media industries. At its heart, this was not simply a spat between two celebrities. It was a moment that captured the complexities of engaging with differing worldviews in a polarized society. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on Bill Maher calling out Whoopi Goldberg's political opinions? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.